What's up guys, welcome back. So today I want to do a video on time differences, so let's get into it. Alright, this question says, Sydney is 10 hours ahead of Coordinated Universal Time, or UTC, plus 10, and New York is 5 hours behind UTC, so UTC minus 5. Tony travels from Sydney to New York. His plane leaves Sydney at 8:20 p.m. on Wednesday local time and flies non-stop to New York. The flight takes 20 hours and 24 minutes. What time and day is it in New York when his plane arrives? Alright, now these time questions can be very confusing because they're very wordy. It's actually a very good skill to have to actually work this out, even though obviously I know that these days you can just use a computer to work it out for you, but it's good kind of problem solving. So first, I'm just going to highlight the important stuff. So Sydney's 10 hours ahead, New York's 5 hours behind UTC. His plane leaves at 8:20 on Wednesday local time and flies to New York. The flight takes 20 hours and 24 minutes. So I want to know what time and day is it in New York when the plane lands. Okay, so in my opinion, the key to doing these questions successfully is drawing a little diagram. So it just has to look like a rectangle, kind of like a map. So I'm going to put 0 here, and I'm going to put Sydney here because Sydney is plus 10, and New York here is minus 5. So that straight away tells me, right, there is a 15-hour time difference from Sydney to New York, but also New York is behind. Okay, so that's the key. Now, the next part here, it says his plane leaves Sydney at 8:20 p.m. on a Wednesday. Okay, so in Sydney, when it's 8:20 on a Wednesday p.m., it flies non-stop to New York and takes 20 hours and 24 minutes. So personally, what I like to do is I like to work out what is the equivalent time in New York when it's 8:20 on a Wednesday, because that's when it's leaving, and then just add on the 20 hours and 24 minutes. Okay, so New York, right, is 15 hours behind 8:20. Okay, so if we work our way back, I like to break it up into chunks of 12. So at 8:20 p.m., 12 hours back is going to be 8:20 a.m. So let's just say here, minus 12 will be 8:20 a.m. And I have another 3 hours to make up the 15. So minus 3 hours, that's going to be 5:20 a.m. And it's still going to be on the same day, on the Wednesday morning. Okay, because I'm going from p.m. at the night all the way just to a.m. So it's still on the same day. Now, once that's worked out, so I know the plane is leaving at the equivalent of 5:20 a.m. on a Wednesday, and the flight takes 20 hours and 24 minutes. So now I just need to add on from here 20 hours and 24 minutes. I'll do 20 hours first. Okay, so to add the 12 will get me to 5:20 p.m. Maybe I'll just break this up in chunks so you can see. So I need to add 20 hours 24 minutes, but I want to break it up into, let's say, first 12 hours. That gets me to 5:20 p.m. Okay, now I need to add on, let's say, another 8 hours to make up to 20 hours. Okay, so what's 5:20 plus 8? Okay, so that is going to be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1:20 a.m. Okay, that's 20 hours, and I'm going to add on the 24 minutes. Plus another 24 minutes. That's going to get me to 1:44 a.m. And that will be on the Thursday. Okay, so just to kind of back up. So what's happened is I've got the New York time. I need to add 20 hours, 24 minutes. So I'm just adding 12 hours, adding 8, that gets me 20 hours, and then adding the 24 minutes. And that gives me 1:44 on a Thursday. All right, next question. Ottawa, Canada is located 45 degrees north and 75 degrees west. Melbourne in Australia is located 37 degrees south and 144 degrees east. Emily lives in Melbourne and needs to give an online presentation to her colleagues in Ottawa, starting at 4 p.m. Monday, local Ottawa time. What time and day in Melbourne should Emily start her presentation? It is given that 15 degrees equals 1 hour's time difference. Ignore daylight saving. All right, so a few things here. Now, instead of working in UTC, we're working with longitude and latitude. We can kind of just ignore this north and south because it doesn't really make a difference going up and down. We're just really worried about going left and right. So if I draw, once again, a simple diagram, just to show me what's ahead of what. So I know that this will be 0. Ottawa is 75 degrees west. And Melbourne is 144 degrees east. Okay. Now here's a little trick. If your letters, east and west, are different, what you need to do is add on those numbers to get the total degrees in between the cities. And if they're the same, so imagine if there was another one over here, which was, let's say, 100 east, if the letters are the same, E and E, then you got to subtract. And that, likewise, that's the same with west. But here you can see I've got west and east, so I'm going to add those two numbers. So 75 degrees plus 144 degrees, what does that give me? So 75 plus 144, that gives me 219 degrees. Now I know that every 15 degrees is 1 hour. They've given it to me here. So I divide that by 15. That gets me 14.6 hours, or in other words, 219 over 15 is equal to 14 degrees 36 mins time difference, okay? So this is the key here. We found that there is 14 hours and 36 minutes time difference from Ottawa to Melbourne. Okay, so we know that Emily lives in Melbourne and she needs to give an online presentation to her colleagues starting in Ottawa at 4 p.m. on a Monday. So 4 p.m. in Ottawa, I need to work out what's the equivalent time in Melbourne. Okay, so all I need to do is add on 14 hours and 36 minutes. So once again, let's break this up. So if I try and get first to 12 hours, and then I'll add another 2 hours, and then I'll add the 36 minutes, that should get me to my answer. Okay, so 4 p.m. on I should include the day, 4 p.m. on a Monday, I'm gonna add 12 hours. That's gonna get me to Tuesday at 4 a.m. I'm gonna add another 2 hours, so that's still Tuesday at 6 a.m. And now I've got 36 minutes, so that must mean she's got to do her presentation at Tuesday, 6:36 a.m. Okay, done. So I hope that helped. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.